introduction for the VODs. Welcome everybody to your second best out of 3 of the day. Game number 1 coming your way. EHOME vs Complexity for the Beyond the Summit World Tour. This is only the 5th best out of 3 of the entire event. We are still in group stage play and very early into that play at that. And godz, you just mentioned it yourself. Well, first let me introduce myself. I am LD of dotacommentaries.com. Joining me, of course, is godz. I'm sure almost all of you know him. Of course, of ghostyogamers.net fame, as well as being one of the primary people behind Beyond the Summit, who's bringing this tournament to y'all. godz, thanks for being here with me. And you mentioned it yourself. This is going to be our first sneak peek at that East versus West matchup.
Yeah, this is one of the first one. Well, this is the first in this competition here. I think there's been a few others here and there. I mean, the Premier League first season had it, but this is warm-up right before the international. Teams are really trying to get some hard practice in, develop some new strategies, and just sort of scout out some of their opponents. So that's what we're going to be seeing here. US versus China. We're up on, I believe, a mixture of US servers and Singapore servers. We may be alternating between Game 1 and Game 2, looking for the fairest options, but it's one of those things. Teams literally said, we want to play. We don't care what server we are. We just want to practice these teams. So we'll see what they can come up with. EHOME, from what I've seen, are a very unpredictable team with their bans and picks. coL do have a more distinctive style, but it's a very successful style.
You know, and I'm glad you talked about style, because if you haven't watched EHOME before, I know a lot of our viewers, especially tuning in this time of day, might be either more familiar with the European scene or the North American scene. EHOME is a very aggressive team, especially for the Chinese. They generally don't go for late game. Maybe they'll pick up a semi-carrier too, but they love to go for aggressive ganking heroes, pushing heroes, get an early advantage in towers, and then slowly strangle their opponents. When EHOME wins, when they're playing well, you'll often see them getting racks, even 2 lanes of racks by that 30-40 minute mark. It's going to be a big contrast in styles. Complexity not known for picking too many hard carries. They pick Morphling here or there. I think their most signature carry right now is TC on Tiny, which has been very effective in the past, but they are a much more defensive, kind of calculated team. Complexity will be aggressive, but it's very, it's not to say that EHOME isn't calculated, but with Complexity, they choose their spots very carefully, often relying on smoke ganks to set things up, so definitely going to be an interesting contrast in styles here. Looks like all the bans are out of the way, and now we get to see how are these teams going to pick.
Yeah, the Invoker's still in the pool, definite possibility, but I don't think it's always the go-to first pick. Oh, Jen, there we go. There's your jungle here, and that's something that coL have been giving up bits and pieces as of late. We'll see where they want to go. I like the Shadow Demon ban from EHOME. It's not really a top tier 1 pick, but it's something that that Complexity have been using, and that a lot of teams in general just love to go to as a support option, and it synergizes so well with so many heroes. Oh, yeah. So I do think that's a clever ban for EHOME, and we'll see what coL want to get in return here. They like their Invoker. They will run their Invoker quite a bit. They may want to go for one of their support options. They'll pick up something like a Venomancer. They'll pick up that side lane Tidehunter. They really love to see Hannah on that side lane Tidehunter, which we've seen. Well, I've seen it probably in the last 3 or 4 games for him. So we'll see what they want to go this game here.
Yeah, I'm really glad you put out the Shadow Demon ban. It's not only a hero that a lot of teams in the West like to run in general, but Complexity in particular really relies on this hero. They do run some other supports. Occasionally we'll see IX Mike, who normally is their hard support player, on something like Venomancer, Crystal Maiden, but I feel recently it has been a Shadow Demon that's the primary support they go for. It's such a great setup hero. And also another hero that Complexity loves to run is that jungler in the Chen, which Fluff and Stuff is normally that jungler player for them as well as the team captain. Of course, it's a strong hero, so that's probably why EHOME picked it up, but it seems like they've either done the research or they just happen to be picking in a way. It doesn't counter Complexity, but it's an informed draft from EHOME that we see so far. And, well, you mentioned the Tidehunter. That's how Complexity wants to start it off. A lot of team fight, and it can be an off-lane hero. It's funny because, it's not something we saw until relatively recently a whole lot of, but Tidehunter doesn't really need the farm. He's very tanky. And ganking him doesn't offer you a whole lot early on, so that's why we see him in that off lane. And Invoker to follow. godz, my man, you are on top of the draft today, so I'm going to stop talking and let you continue, since your predictions are just 100% so far. And actually, I think godz has stepped away for a moment. Maybe I lost the call with him.
Oh, no, sorry, man. Sorry about that. I just ticked on my mic for a second there. I was actually going to... I'm glad you're talking, because I was just about to pipe up and say something. Well, before the Invoker was picked, I was going to say they may actually go for the Tinker solo mid, saying they've been running a bit. I was going to say either Tinker or Invoker. And Rubik picked up for EHOME. I'm not even... EHOME team who will run a lot of different things here. Rubik here, they can put in that mid lane. They can run as a support, but I'd say it's more likely going to the mid lane. They've got the Chen. They probably want to go for something with a bit more sort of versatility, a few more disables up its pack, although, I mean, Rubik really is as far as supports go, very versatile with the telekinesis and then the ability to steal any spell your opponents use if you do time that right. So their third hero here, I feel they may go for something like a Morphling. This is where if they want to get up some carry like Morphling and not see it getting banned out later on, they want to get it here. So this could be a Morphling pick. That would be my best guess. Although, I mean, they really can take any path with these first two picks.
Right, there's so many options. We could see a Night Stalker, a Broodmother, a lot of heroes that EHOME likes to run. But look for them, I mean, if they go for a Morphling, expect them to be very aggressive with that Morphling, especially once the first 10-15 minutes it's pushing down towers, looking to secure map control. That is the EHOME way. And well, one interesting mechanics interaction I will throw out there. Saw it recently, last time I cast a Rubik game, I believe. Telekinesis, when used on Tidehunter, Kraken Shell will not dispel it. So actually it holds him up in the air. And if you're able to burst him down during that time, can really turn the tides of a fight. Brewmaster to follow as well. So, well, you've got yourself a great team fight ultimate. And a decent way to help deal with that Invoker and Tidehunter. Of course, the Ravage not going to be too useful versus Panda if he's able to get the ult off. One thing I will say, Rubik not the best at stealing Ravage. It's one of the spells that's very difficult to steal. I did see it happen the last time I cast Rubik, but generally a good Tidehunter will Ravage and immediately Anchor Smash or Gush, and it's so hard to stay out of range. Maybe if you get a Blink Dagger, a Force Staff, or a BKB, you can grab it. Rubik not necessarily only picked up 4 spell steal, but it's one of those ththings, everybody who's watching is going to want to see those big spell steals. And for now, it's going to be difficult at least to get that ultimate.
Yeah, and I don't know you, but as far as spell stealing goes, I'm a bit happy. You don't want to sort of hold out and look for one of those big ultis. I mean, for one thing, if you do ban steal, it has a big cooldown, but generally stealing them, you'll end up falling short. You'll accidentally get an Anchor Smash. You're better off looking for stealing some spammable skills, something like a Power Shot, something like a Fissure, something like a reliable stun or a spamming spell, some kind of AoE nuke that has. I mean, you don't want to steal. I mean, for the most part, you want to steal one of those sort of core spells, not an ultimate. Obviously, stealing a Ravage in the middle of a team fight would be fantastic, but then after that, you just want to go on, grab a new spell, and start spamming that away. So we'll see how EHOME want to use this. Right now, there's nothing all that appealing, but I mean, even just getting a Gush, getting an Anchor Smash can be fairly useful. Enchantress picked up for Complexity. They're going to get a counter jungler here, and we'll see whether or not they want to try and contest EHOME's jungle. I have a feeling they're just going to run it in their own jungle and put the Tidehunter as that suicide solo. It tends to be the route they like to take, but depending on how they expect EHOME to land, really anything's still possible for both these teams.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Are we going to see both junglers in the same jungle? That's a real treat to watch. Whenever it's Chen versus Enchantress, man, it all comes down to who's got their creep domination spell available. You can see very clever steals. Chen steals a Centaur from Enchantress, immediately stops her with it, and suddenly it's a huge turnaround. So that's sort of back and forth. I mean, that's the ideal scenario for us as viewers. A little bit more exciting, but it gives Complexity some very strong early pushing potential, a little bit of gank as well. You follow that up with the Gush, the Sunstrike. They could get some early kills, especially if it's an Exort Invoker. We'll have to see where both teams go from here. For the moment, it seems like, EHOME has done their research, man. Look at that. The Tiny ban is forthcoming. EHOME has been watching Complexity. They know about TC's Tiny, because this is not a hero you would normally see banned out. So great research by EHOME.
Watching and scrimming. I mean, as Fluff has mentioned, they have scrimmed EHOME in the past. I mean, it sounds like they've scrimmed on a fairly regular basis, in fact. So I'd say these two teams do know each other. They have versed each other before, but this is the first time in an official match, and we'll see where coL go. I mean, you've casted a bit of them as of. I mean, you casted their games against absolute legends. I mean, they had the Tiny then, at least in one of those two games. Where do they go when they don't get the Tiny? What's it going to be their go-to carry? I mean, I've seen them use Queen of Pain before in the safe lane, but I don't feel that's where they're going to go. What do they get instead? Do they go for the hard carry like a Morphling?
10 seconds remaining.
Well, here we go, Longer in the final ban, and now the question is, what is EHOME going to go for? Will they go for that hard carry? Morphling, of course, being the most likely candidate. Are they going to go for more mid-game? Night Stalker is an option if you want to do that. Dragon Knight's a hero that we've seen them run from time to time. Gives you that push and versatility. Well, they're going to continue to sort of keep their cards close to the vest. Windrunner is the 4th pick. And it's a pretty good team fight now for EHOME. They've got the Panda as well as Shackle. A couple of ways here to initiate it. If Panda ever gets a blink, it's going to be very hard for Complexity to take a team fight. But we'll have to see how things develop. Of course, that is looking very far ahead. And I guess the question is, what does Complexity want? Do they want that hard carry? We've seen the real Juggernaut before as sort of a semi-carry pushing style here. There's a lot of options for them. It's going to be Crystal Maiden. So both teams waiting until this final pick to really reveal it all. They're teasing us, guys.
I mean, all Complexity do reveal that they're going to be running a side lane solo or a farming Tide Hunter, which I'd say EHOME probably knew already. I mean, if they know coL, they knew to ban the Tiny. I think they know how they like to run that Tide. The last pick, I mean, Morphling is a possible. I think Morphling is probably going to be their first choice here. I mean, Juggernaut, though, definitely an option. They've ran Doombringer in the past. Complexity really, in that carry position, have run absolutely anything and everything. And that's something that does make them quite a unique team with their style. EHOME with their last pick, I mean, where they want to go with this, I think it depends slightly. Is Winrunner players support? It looks like it is a Winrunner support. We'll see Bounty Hunter in this top lane, I want to say. And I like this pickup. They want to get the Brewmaster a lot of farm so we can get up that early Blink Dagger. He'll be probably in the safe lane with the Winrunner or possibly a support Rubik. I mean, they could run that either way. I think the Rubik will probably be at the mid lane. And then we'll see Bounty Hunter go into that off lane as that sort of semi-carry utility hero, just getting the levels and then having a strong mid-game impact, going for some sort of cheap, cost-effective items like the Drum of Endurance. So now Complexity need to think how they want to deal with this. I mean, they can just dominate that Bounty Hunter at top lane with some sentries, and that may be the path they want to take.
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned that. Normally when we see a team like EHOME pick up Bounty Hunter, it's not a farming hero. A lot of pub players like to go for Bounty Hunter and then get a Battle Fury, go for a lot of damage items. This will be a utility Bounty Hunter, almost certainly, likely to be in that off lane. And the thing about it is, sure, he might fall behind in levels in farm, but Bounty Hunter is one of the best heroes to catch up in the entire world of Dota because of track. And even earlier on, if he's not having a great time top, once he gets level 2 or 3, he can look to go mid and set up a gank, at least pressure the enemy mid, and take some relieve some pressure from whoever's soloing. And, well, the one point that you made, which I really would like to reiterate, is, as we have ourselves a bit of a remake, is it's not entirely clear who EHOME will have as that support. Could be the Rubik, could be the Windrunner, but I feel like the Rubik might give you a little more because you really want that spell steal online quickly. You'd like to get the nukes maxed out, and Windrunner can play catch-up a bit better in the mid-game than Rubik. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have ourselves an AP remake. This is Beyond the Summits World Tour, your 5th group stage match, 24 total to come. This is game number 1, EHOME versus Complexity, our very first sneak peek preview into the East versus West matchup, something a lot of people have been excited for. We actually have ourselves good pings for both teams. You know, not the best, but certainly playable pings, I would say. And maybe a little bit higher than you would like. But nonetheless, it looks like both teams are okay with it. We're not having another remake, so in we go to the game. EHOME on the Radiant, Complexity on the Dire. And gods, I am very excited. I'm not sure if my body is ready, but my heart hopefully is. Let's introduce the players real quick. Of course, I have LD of dotacommentaries.com. Joining me is Gods. For Complexity, TC playing Queen of Pain, Jo on his signature Invoker, IX Mike on that hard support Crystal Maiden, Fluff and Stuff on the Enchantress, Wards and Smoke already picked up, and finally, Hannah Montana. Okay, Gods, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, mate. This has been a fun night. We've had some good games so far. LGD looking absolutely unstoppable. Now we get to see another Chinese team, but not taking on one of their countrymen, taking on an American team. So something a bit different, something a bit fresh. We have got EHOME. Lan M playing the Bounty Hunter. We're going to see the Brewmaster in the hands of Perfect Cat. We've got MMY on the Rubik. It is going to be a solo mid Rubik played by X or Die. We've got kingj, the captain, playing the Chen, and we've got QQQ playing the Windrunner. So Windrunner support by the looks of things with the Brewmaster at bottom. We're going to see Rubik at mid, and I'd say Bounty Hunter swinging towards that top lane. Going to be soloing that up unless he stays at bottom and solos that lane and they send a dual lane top. But I feel they do want the Brewmaster at bottom.
Yeah, we talked about the importance of that Brewmaster getting the early farm. You want, you know, at least something like Phase Boots, maybe a Drum Up or Arcane Boots, and then ideally the Blink Dagger. If he can get a Blink, it's going to be absolutely huge. Look at Complexity's lineup. They have one hero that can reliably escape him. That's the Queen of Pain. Aside from that, everybody else is meat, fresh meat for him if he gets that good start, if he can get the Blink up. So it looks like he will be ensconced down the bottom lane. Lamb, meanwhile, heading up towards the top. Early Stout Shield picked up. He's going to go Invis and look to play very defensively in this lane. Are there Sentry Wards up for Complexity? Indeed there are. IX Mike already has a pair, and this could make like very unpleasant for the Bounty Hunter.
Oh yeah, that's what you're going to do. One, if they are an Observer Ward at the pool, you can deward that, but more importantly, just having vision on that Bounty Hunter, it's going to prevent him from poking around, getting XP. And IX Mike is going to scout him out. He's got this Invis rune. He can probably just start right-clicking almost right away. He's going to do so. Just force another Windwalk out, force him to back off, and we'll see if, yep, he will just drop a Sentry immediately, making sure Bounty Hunter's not anywhere near XP. And we'll have to see it. For me, the two big things is how these two jungle heroes play. We've got Fluff on the Enchantress, we've got Chen at bottom being played by kingj, and Enchantress is definitely the hero who can get more involved early on, going for some ganks, going for some kills. As something clever, LAN hiding in the trees at top. I like this. It's pretty much guaranteed XP unless the CM finds him.
IX Mike is on the hunt. He wants Lamb, but so far not going to be able to track him down. Doing a bit of a circle around here, and well, for the moment, actually going very far down the lane. He really wants this bounty hunter, but Lamb has found a great position for himself. Already level 2, and well, frankly, when you get those early sentry wards, you mentioned they can be used for dewarding, but if you're dropping them in the lane, you don't want Lamb to get any farm. Or any levels rather, and so far he's getting them. Let's see how long it takes Complexity to find him. Meanwhile, it looks like both junglers just farming it up. kingj level 2 already, working towards level 3. Fluff the same, so a very passive start to the game. Tornadoes acquired for both heroes, and well, the middle lane, this may be the one to watch, as we have MMY on the Rubik up against JO's Invoker. Pretty even matchup in the lane. I'm very curious how things will shape up once the Rubik gets closer to level 6. That's when things will get really interesting.
Yeah, I think this mid lane is going to be a bit more action-packed than top. I mean, watching Bounty Hunter hold position there for a good 30 to 40 seconds. Probably the easiest game of LANM's life so far, but we'll see how things heat up for him at the top lane. Bottom lane, bit of aggression on Hannah, but Hannah, with his trademark stout shield, well, he's got 6 tangos and a salve. He's in a lot of trouble. He may even go down. The crit coming from Brewmaster, that's going to actually secure that kill. Winrun's going to get the first blood. That's a big kill, and that's, I mean, they're level 2 getting that kill. It was a level 2 clap, sorry. So level 3 Brewmaster, level 2 Windrunner, getting a kill on time. It must have had some unlucky stout shield procs or something.
You know, it was actually a level 1 Windrunner when the fight started. Didn't have Power Shot or Windrun. She got level 2 from that kill. Great play by QQQ, and one thing to point out here, there are no wards for this Tidehunter. He's tanky, the stout shield almost saved him, but he's only level 1 and he has no vision. It's going to make life very unpleasant for Hannah Montana. Whereas Lamb, getting close to level 3, he harassed mid a bit, now he's rotating in the jungle just to try and steal some creeps from Fluff. And this is one way to get that farm, being a total nuisance, and now he wants to wild kill. That would be an absolutely massive pickoff, but looks like Fluff is going to keep it away. This is actually very important, but in the end that creep will escape.
Yeah, you don't want to give any free XP or gold to LANM. He's having a tough time at the top. Well, not so much a tough time, but he's having a...
he's still chasing it.
He gets it. That's a nice chunk of XP and gold for him. I mean, he does chew through most of his money using those shadow walks, but hey, he's not going to be too fast by. He'll probably just head back top, look for a new hiding spot where he can just leech XP and poke around, try and get a bit of creep kills every now and then. But he's sort of swinging towards mid even. I mean, he's level 3. He's got the level 2 Shadow Walk, he's got a point Janine, he can maybe even look for a potential gank.
Yeah, he's barely been in lane, he's still out leveling the Tidehunter, and that's just, you know, it's just the Shadow Walk so powerful, even when there's a Sentry Ward in the lane. I mean, first of all, it's an investment for the support gold-wise, but even if the ward's there, he can always go elsewhere. You can't have Sentry Wards everywhere, you're not going to have a gem this early. Looks like he wants to go on Jo, and speaking of Jo, he is going Quas Wex, not going to be the Exhort build. Which means the Complexity will have a bit of a stronger mid-game if they can get there in good fashion. So far, we're not seeing the biggest differential. Oh, actually, look at the gold graph must be bugged. There's no way there's a 4,000 gold lead for Complexity right now. Looks like experience is a lot more even.
Yeah, the EHOME are not gaining gold at all. It's 0 versus 3.8k, so something a bit bugged there. We will see Complexity looking to push this top tier on tower. If we want to see the gold, I guess we have to look at each hero's individual gold per minute and do some quick mental maths, or whip out your calculator, your TI-83, I'm sure you've got on hand. But
oh, yeah.
It is Complexity who are putting on the first sign of pressure. They're going to go for that T1 top tower, but meanwhile, Chen at bottom reacting very quickly as LANM actually, no, he takes a bit of harass there. The Central out of range, but Complexity aren't done. They're going to go for a second, while EHOME finally reacting, finally looking to put on pressure at bottom, but there we go. Hannah scouts it out. He's not going to go down, although he may see his tower drop, but this is looking good for Complexity so far.
Yeah, what can you do if you're EHOME? This is one of the weaknesses of their lineup. Aside from the Windrunner, who's playing support, they really don't have any anti-push, and actually, she's got a level 2 Shackle. She's not even maxing Power Shot first. Pretty unorthodox skill build here. Shackle at level 1, now taking a second point. kingj in a bit of trouble. Cold Snap to start. Where's the Gush? Tornado to follow. Now we're going to have a Gush from Hannah Montana. It looks to be a kill here. kingj likely to go down. He will go down. Shackle not going to latch. QQQ continuing the chase. Telekinesis pulling Hannah Montana back. He will drop as well. But while this is happening, they get a tier 2. 2 quick towers and a kill on the Chen. Overall, Complexity have to be happy with that trade.
Oh yeah, that was, I mean, they didn't even lose a bottom tower at all. I mean, Chen came around, didn't really accomplish all too much. And in the end, Complexity walk away with a good chunk of gold. This is going to be a lane now where Bounty Hunter can catch up in levels, catch up in a bit of farm here. Although, I mean, he's just going to be looking to get up some treads into a drum of endurance, I imagine. And TC, I mean, he's just going to push all the way up in this lane and still contest. I mean, he's not worried about too much about getting ganked here with these heroes.
You know, it's EHOME's lineup. They just don't have any. It's not like they have a Beastmaster or a Vengeful Spirit, some sort of reliable stun early on. They don't have too many ways to lock down the Queen of Pain. Plus, you mentioned the early map control. TC is not afraid, and he's able to farm very aggressively. Hannah Montana level 3, also not able to do a whole lot to stop the push. So finally, EHOME strikes back. Tower last hit by the Panda here, and boy, he's up to 800 gold, or 900 gold, excuse me, and Arcane Boots. If he wants that blink, he could have it in 3-4 minutes at the rate he's farming.
Yeah, that is a bit of a worry for Complexity. But, I mean, even heroes like Queen of Pain can escape from that blink initiation because there aren't going to be massive amounts of follow-up stunts unless they can land that big shackle. So I feel, I mean, it can cause some problems, but it's not going to be the end of the world for Complexity. They're going to sort of inch their way towards that Tide Ravager. He is struggling so far. He's only just about to reach level 4. But still, Complexity have their options. Enchantress actually level 5 here, going for a very fast mech. Already has the buckler up, 800 gold on top of that. And I like this play from Fluff, really wanting to get that as quickly as possible. And that's going to help deal with the Brewmaster when he gets that blink up.
Oh, it's such a great response to the Brewmaster. Lamb continuing to harass here in the jungle. And EHOME relieved the pressure on bottom lane. It's going to give Tide Hunter an opportunity to get levels. But without the Ravage, Complexity can't really teamfight. They have Tornado, they have EMP, but it's still a very low-level Invoker. Only 6, only 2 points of X. Another tower claimed by EHOME. They know with the Panda ult, they can take a fight, and they're not going to stop pushing. Bounty Hunter continue to harass Fluff and stuff. How can Complexity respond? I mean, they're split pushing for now, but they're going to lose a tier 2 mid if they don't do something soon, and that's a big loss this early on.
But that's another tower that went straight into Brewmaster's pockets. He's now just 300 away from a Blink Dagger. And we're just 8 minutes in. And he went Arcane Boots. It's not like he's going for a very eco-Blink build. He's going Arcane Boots, and then he's picking the Blink Dagger. So it's going to be up in very, very quick time.
Wow, TC with the naked Ultimate Orb. Not something we see often. He is farming very well. TC already up to 50 CS in 8 minutes, so although EHOME is playing very aggressively mid, it is freeing up the Queen of Pain to farm. Also worth noting, when you have this many heroes in one lane, that means the rest of your team is not getting farmed. Chen, very close to level 6, actually not that close, but about a minute or two away from it. Once he has that ultimate, that's where EHOME can really get aggressive. The Chen ult plus the Panda ult. The one thing they're lacking right now is track, and they really want that track to make their ganks more efficient, also to allow them to chase better. Especially against Wex Invoker and a blinking Queen of Pain. What other variety is there besides blinking? Telekinesis to start, they're going to follow up with Fateful. They really could use the track there. Tornado was stolen, and TC in a world of trouble. E with the Ultimate Orb, he will go down. No track bonus gold there, but now they have level 6. And oh boy, EHOME is going to turn this into a push.
Yeah, now they're going to look to try to take out this top tower, and this Brewmaster is going to have his Blink Dagger now. This is not going to be something that Complexity can fight. They can't defend. They're going to be looking to this Invoker to help defend his house, but just level 7, that Tornado EMP combo is not really quite where he wants it to be. He's going to need quite a few more points in that Wex to start getting the Martin Drain going, as well as the Tornado range. And I mean, they're still just looking to trade. They're trying to go for this T1 mid tower. They're trying to just force off the Chen, but here's TP in from Brewmaster. He's got this blink. This could be bad for Complexity.
Oh, blink in to start, ult to follow. What is the response from Complexity? Jail gets locked down. Look at the Rubik, and he stole blink from Queen of Pain. Oh man, he stole that at the end of the last fight, and now MMY can be a fantastic initiator for his team. Blink into Telekinesis, Fade Bolt on top of it. It's a lot of burst damage, and with those 2 kills, EHOME gonna look to pressure mid. Not sure they can get the tower. Again, the Tide Hunter is still not level 6. Okay, he just got it. So now, with the Panda ultimate down and the ultimate up for Tide Hunter, Complexity could look to take a fight. It's still going to be tough, but they have an opportunity to do so. The question is, will they actually do it, or are they going to continue to trade? Blink in on the Fluff. No mana for the Clap. Fluff is going to back off. The heal is forced out. Tower shot doing some harassment. The TP comes in from Tide, but it's a very long TP. Gives everyone time to get away. Tornado is barely going to hit KJ, but he's used his ultimate. No creeps here. Even if they get this kill, won't be the biggest in the world. Gush to follow. They want KJ. It's taking a long time, even a Queen of Pain ultimate used, but finally KJ goes down. Still at the cost of that many TPs and without the track on Complexity side. I mean, it's a kill they want, but it's not the end of the world. Still, it would be a big deal to get this tower, and with Ravage up, Complexity, sensing their opportunity, is going to look to push. Definitely a smart play from them. Well, can they, though? The wave is just getting murdered. There's no creeps.
Yeah, it's hard for them. I mean, the Enchantress, the army is slowly getting smaller and smaller. Chen has his creeps in the front line. One's going to go down, but Chen can just steal that other Dark Claw for me.
Oh, man!
For defending, he snipes the Enchantress. The Fade Bolt does so much damage.
It does, and it's very deceptive too. The way it bounces through, it's not the sort of spell where you can see it coming. I mean, it's got a very nice cast animation, bounces through quickly, and the burst damage from EHOME, it's just too high. This is, we often see when Puppey plays Enchantress or some other players, they, instead of going for the quick mech, they go for something like Bracers, maybe even a point booster, just to help deal with the burst damage. And well, Complexity definitely needs the mechanism up against EHOME. It's not a bad build by any means, but this is one of the downsides. Fluff can be burst down even while that heal is up.
Yeah, I mean, seeing 600 speed, it's one of those painful roles to be playing that Enchantress when you're up against these heavy nukers, and it's showing here, and Rubik is just basically having a blast up against a low HP hero like the Enchantress. Sure, she's gone for that mech, but even when you have the mech, you can maybe burst her down with a disable before she even gets a chance to pop it, so that's going to be a big concern for Fluff. Going to be very careful with this positioning. Bottom lane, Rubik has, once again, stolen the Tornado. That's probably, I mean, about as good as it gets. I mean, you could steal maybe a Blink from the Queen of Pain. I mean, okay, you can steal the Tide Ravage, but, I mean, stealing that Tornado, it's a very useful spell.
Well, as we discussed, I believe it was in the initial game before we had ourselves the AP remake, it is very difficult to actually steal Ravage, because normally Tide's going to hit you and then Anchor Smash or Gush, and if you stay far enough away, then he can normally have a chance to use those spells, or the ult's just going to hit you, and you might die before you get it off. So, like you mentioned before, it's often better just to steal whatever you can, and there are so many other spells that are great to have. Blink, of course, great initiation. I mean, a free Blink Dagger, nothing to sneeze at. Of course, Queen of Pain's Blink does scale pretty hard in terms of the range, so it's not as good as a Blink Dagger, but unlike the Blink Dagger, you can use it even if you're taking damage, and it will get better later on. Tornado, of course, gives EHOME even more initiation. And, well, they already have a lot. The Blink Clap from the Panda alone, I'm not sure what Complexity can do to deal with that Blink Clap ultimate, aside from avoiding these fights. I mean, maybe a timely Ravage, but can you really kill off this Panda in time? There's a Chen heal. Chen can send it back as well. A lot of defensive capabilities here for EHOME, and it makes it very hard for Complexity to fight as long as that Panda ult is up.
Yeah, they're going to trade this tier 1 bottom just for the tier 2 at mid, and I don't think EHOME are in a position yet where they can push in much more than these tier 2 towers, but they're going to take this trade hit. Actually, no, they're probably not going to. They're going to TP back. Well, I was about to say, I was a bit surprised they'd give up a free tower, even though they're getting a tier 2 tower. I think they should probably just TP back and not give up anything for free, but what is going on? Top lane.
Oh, I thought Lamb was going to snipe the courier there, but, or excuse me, not Lamb, I had him on Tana, but in the end, doesn't go for it. It's tracked up, and, well, it looks like, yep, Rubik just scouting a bit with an illusion here. EHOME are just applying pressure all over the map, playing some early 5-man Dota, and I agree with you. I'm not sure it's worth forfeiting this tower, at least at 1 or 2 heroes back, but it just shows you how committed EHOME is to knocking down these outer towers. They don't want Jo to farm safely. They don't want the Queen of Pain being played by TC to do so either, and knocking down those towers is the best way to shut down their farms. So it's a trade-off that EHOME are willing to make. Well, in fact, they're not even going to push. I'm really not sure why they didn't defend that, but either way, the tower is down. EHOME's still ahead in terms of the map control. Both of the mid towers knocked down. If they get this last outer tier 1, it's going to be very hard for Complexity to farm safely, and Complexity's starting to apply some pressure at mid. Tide her out and Queen of Pain. The tower is low. Glyph is up though, and this is a tower EHOME will not give up without a fight.
Yeah, and something to be of note is that, I mean, Complexity are actually doing really well in terms of tower because of those 2 really fast towers at top lane. I mean, they've taken 3 towers. They're going to get this mid tower denied. And, I mean, that's 4 towers down, and they're chipping away at this tier 2 tower at bottom. I mean, Complexity are pretty much on par for towers with EHOME right now. So that's one thing they've done well. They've traded. They haven't traded so well for farm, and they've just been avoiding these team fights. When they've occurred, they haven't gone well for Complexity, but they catch up in a bit of farm, they catch up in a bit of levels, get the Tornado EMP power up, get the I mean, they've got the Tide Ravage, but get the mech in the pipe.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Well, you mentioned core item pickups here, and another one to keep an eye on. TC is going for Linken's, and he just about has it. One thing to keep in mind is there's a lot of single target spells that can remove that Linken's. Brewmaster's Drunken Haze, once he gets a point, it can, of course, Shackle Shot, Telekinesis. I believe Fade Bolt will as well, plus Track and Shuriken. Chen's got a couple abilities that can too, so I'm not sure this will be the most effective Linken's, but it tips the hand as far as how Complexity wants to play. They want TC to farm. They're not going to try and force anything, and this really is Complexity style. They love to get TC big, and then later on in the game, once they have their core items, you mentioned the mech and pipe, that's when Complexity looks to play aggressively. Very calculated, you know, they'll go for smokes, they'll go for intelligent ganks, but they're not going to be too aggressive here in the early to mid game. Or at least not with the hero builds.
Yeah. Oh, no, I fully agree here. And I mean, they're probably looking to get TC up. I mean, just keep on farming towards that next big item. Oh, Brewmaster sniping the Invoker at mid.
Oh, Lamb,
he's starting to build to...
Uh-oh, he's going to get
he's starting to build towards that Aghanim Scepter now. And unless he wants to break apart those Arcane Boots and get a Bloodstone. But Aghanim Scepter, it will be for the Brewmaster, who gets sent back to base by Chen. And they've still got the Brewmaster ulti. It's still just level 1 ulti. It does scale very well. You want that level 2 ulti as soon as possible. So for now, maybe EHOME just happy to sit back and get those levels rather than just going as 5 and leveling a bit slower than they'd like.
Yeah, in terms of other item pickups, the one hero who seems to be falling a bit behind for Complexity, well, it's Jo. He's got Phase Boots, he's got a Drum. Looks like Yule Scepter, maybe an Orchid would be the next item choice. This is sort of the classic Wex Invoker build. You go for Phase Boots, Drums, and Yules, and you just have maximum mobility. Pretty much can run at full move speed at all times, especially if you use a Drum Charge. And having that permanent haste can be very powerful. Still, EHOME is a great chasing team. I mean, Telekinesis, Shackle Shot, Wind Run, the Blink from the Panda, the Clap, and of course the Panda Ultimate, plus Track on top of it all. Even with that move speed, it may be hard for Jo to avoid getting locked down and pick off. I mean, we saw it there, that was a 4v1, but even in a team fight, positioning is very important for Complexity. It's also very difficult to pull off, especially with that early Blink of Panda. And EHOME smoked up, they want to play aggressive. They're going to go for a... Actually, they might run up this hill past the Sentry Ward. The question is Complexity watching the minimap? They will not see them, or the screen, they're not going to see them on the map. Wow, look at the map awareness there from Hannah Montana.
There we go.
Has his camera positioned over this area because you don't see these heroes when they're smoked on the minimap, and now Complexity may have an opening here to punish EHOME. The smoke wears off, and they are safely back to the tower. So we're not going to see that big team fight, at least not yet.
Yeah, and no ward up for EHOME, so they can't just chuck a ward up on that high ground where they'd probably like to have one now. And they pretty much scout out everything that there is to see with the Complexity team, who are sitting up there together, apart from TC, who's at bottom, duking out with LAN-M. And they're going to just trade blows of it here. TC should be okay. He's going to be a bit careful. He's really trading blows. Blinks away. He's got the Lincoln's back up. Oh, he blocks it though. No, he's going to be okay. He TP's home and doesn't really want to fight too much long with LAN-M, who still has a fair bit of HP and mana left.
Yeah, great awareness and patience there by TC, making sure the Lincoln's is up before he actually TP's out, because the Shuriken would interrupt that. And yeah, you can try and blink away, but then you're wasting a lot of time. So nice play there, not overreacting, and it looks like we're going to have ourselves another trade attempt. EHOME pushing top. This tower is low, and if Complexity doesn't glyph now, they're going to. Hand of God coming out. Lamb's in a bit of trouble bottom. Track goes on to IX Mike, but Lamb will be able to get away. Tower is going to fall top. TC TP's in, or will the tower fall? Actually, everybody leaves. Looks like they want to defend mid. This tower may get denied. No, a nice last hit by kingj, microing his army very well. Will TC look to kill it off? He's got the ult if he wants it. Meanwhile, down bottom, Crystal Maiden gets picked up. That is, I believe that was a track kill, and that's going on to 3 heroes if it was, so that's a lot of gold into the banks of EHOME. Still, and on top of that, they get the top tower, so pretty good trade there overall.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, I mean, every bit of track gold just starting to add up now. I mean, you see Brewmaster 1,400 gold, another 1,600 gold to his Aghanim Scepter. You see LAN-M sitting on 1,500 gold, probably going to build towards a BKB, I feel, against the Tide Ravage, the Queen of Pain, and the Invoke AoE. Yeah, there we go. He's picked up his Ogre Club, and I think I've just heard a gem being bought. Is that? I've heard a gem noise. Am I crazy?
I'm not sure if you can hear that, actually. Maybe you can. I was not aware of that, but let's take a look at the inventory.
Okay. When they get dropped, I think. When they get dropped, you can hear. Maybe I'm just being crazy here. I hear things every now and then.
It has been a rather long day of casting, at least with all the delays. It's getting pretty late over where godz is, so either way, I don't see a gem. Maybe there is a hidden gem on the map, but one thing I want to point out as well is TC has not really gotten that much.
That's a gem. That's a gem.
Where is it?
I'm not crazy.
Where is it?
It's on the courier. I just saw it on the courier. It's on the Brewmaster now.
All right.
I'm telling you, man, I've got a keen ear. This is the second time it's happened. I'll hear a gem noise, and then I'll go crazy for the next 2 or 3 minutes. I don't see the gem, and then suddenly it's like, oh, there it is. There was a gem. I wasn't crazy.
Guys, if you pub against godz and he knows the enemy is a gem, he's not cheating. No, actually, I don't think you can hear it if it's your opponent's buying it. But as a spectator, nice little feature there by Valve. One thing I want to point out is TC really hasn't progressed his inventory too much since getting that Lincoln Sphere. Just adding the power treads and the Void Stone, and well, it's because these towers are down. There's a lot of pressure from EHOME. He had to TP out bottom when Bounty Hunter went on him. It's a bit difficult for TC to farm safely. Sure, Complexity's gotten some towers of their own, but it just feels like EHOME are the aggressors overall here. Complexity is going for tower trades, but they're not looking for fights. They're not looking to actually commit to anything, whereas EHOME commit a bit more to the push up top. They also defend bottom. Still, this is how Complexity wants to play right now. They need to get up these next set of items, and then they can look to be aggressive. BKB would be huge, especially against Brewmaster. Not sure if that'll be the route that anyone takes. It looks like for the moment TC wants a Scythe of Vice. Another great way to deal with that Brewmaster. If you can hex him up and bring him down before he can drop the ult, that is a team fight one off the bat for Complexity.
Yeah,
but he's a long way from
potentially going. Yeah, he's definitely a long way away. Invoker potentially going. No, he's got a Sober Mac. He buys a full Force Up. So Force Up and drums. There's your sort of your core items on Geo. So he's got his bread and butter up. We'll see where he wants to go for next. I'd say probably just go straight for a second sheep stick. I mean, the more the better against heroes like Brewmaster and Bounty Hunter. Just want to lock them down as much as possible. And Complexity, they can drag this because, I mean, there isn't much that EHOME have in the late game. I mean, Bounty Hunter is not a hero who can carry. Brewmaster is all about the ultimate, and he is actually fairly under-leveled. I mean, he's only still level 10. This is not really as good a position that EHOME really would like to be in based on the kills and the map control they have. They're not really, I mean, excelling, I feel, at this point as much as they could be with this lead.
Well, you know, there's not one hero who's far ahead, but at least judging by the experience graph, it looks like the overall team is leveling well. Chen almost getting that level 2 ult. It's more of a balanced approach. You don't see a Morph lane or an Anti-Mid up at level 14, 15, 16. But everybody on EHOME is something. Force Staff on the Windrunner, Force Staff Mech, and Arcane Moods on MMY. And boy, is he farmed. That may be the hero to focus. In we go. Tornado EMP. They want QQQ. Chen Hill flying out. Actually, the ult by TC only hitting kingj. They want kingj, but he's already used the ult. Not the biggest deal if he dies. Panda ult gets dropped. Hannah Montana still looking for the Ravage. Looks like Panda wants to lock him down, but Hannah Montana too damn tanky. Ravage on everybody. Great Ravage there by Hannah Montana. Where's the follow-up, though? Doesn't look like they have it for now. Panda ult still going out. A lot of damage being done in Complexity. They've used their big combo. Another EMP Tornado is used. Doesn't look like it'll be enough. MMY Force Staff into the tower. Might have been a bit too far. It looks like he's overextended. No, Force Staff away. So many Force Staffs to work with here. And here comes Cupid Cat. Still very tanky at this point. Wants to dive on that Brewmaster. In the end, he backs off. So after all is said and done, a lot of ults used. In fact, pretty much every big ult is used. 1-for-1 trade, but we're not done just yet. Blink clap in, track to follow, telekinesis holding Jay in place, and now Hannah Montana a lot of trouble. Shackled to the tree, looks like they should be able to bring him down. No, the net stopping it. Will he dive is the question. Thinks about a blink clap, not gonna go. Well, EHOME gets another kill, and they get it on the Invoker, a very important hero to keep down. I have to say a win for EHOME, but not the biggest win in the world. Complexity didn't completely fall apart in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, it was going well for them, and EHOME just sort of faked them out. They did them to go to back off, and then they just pounce on the Invoker. You're not having the best time in this game. He's actually managed to farm up fairly well, but getting caught out once or twice, and so far, I mean, Complexity, they're still well in this game. It's 10-3, but with their late game, they're definitely, I'd say, definitely superior late game. I mean, they haven't got a hard carry, but Invoker and Queen of Pain, I feel, just scale a lot better than the Bounty Hunter and Brewmaster. Although if Bounty Hunter and Brewmaster do manage to drastically outfarm them, that may not be the case. And then this Rubik, 4-star, Mech, 1200 gold and Arcane Boots. I mean, there's a lot of farm on the EHOME side. I do feel they are leading in that area, although we actually can't check the gold graph.
Well, but we can look at
we can use our imagination.
Yeah, look at EHOME. Everybody's got at least 60 CS. That is impressive compared to Complexity, where IX Mike on that Crystal Maid, again, not a good farming hero. This is not a criticism of IX Mike, but he said he had 16 CS. It's a better split for EHOME. It's more farm concentrated in individual heroes for Complexity, particularly a lot resting on the shoulders of TC and Invoker. And I agree with you. In the late game, I think they can outcarry the Bounty and the Panda, primarily because these two heroes are ranged and very, very mobile. Panda relies on the blink, and that's sort of it for his mobility. He's got the I guess he's got the ult to move around a bit better. He's pretty fast when that's up, but Queen of Pain and Invoker, eventually they'll just be too mobile. And this is a support bounty hunter. He's going for kind of a tanky style build with a BKB. He's not going for big damage. So if Complexity can hang on and get those items up, they have a good shot in the late game, but this could be bad for Jo. Tornado EMP to start, Force Staff away, and well, now he's too fast. There's no profit or anything like that. Jo will get out of there. Still, it's the pressure right now that EHOME is trying to apply. I feel they need to do a little bit more soon. Maybe go for this tier 2 bottom. Try and get a Roshan off of it. Go for some hero picks or something. It looks like they're groupie at bottom. They want this tower. And the tower is low. Can Complexity defend this? Will they try to? Looks like they want to. Oh, it's not clear if they will. EHOME is gonna back up. If they're gonna back up. kingj gets another tower, not denied again by the creep. And in the back lines, just Hannah Montana fight illusion. Big plays here from the jungler.
Yeah, timing that last hit with his creep army, and kingj more gold into his pockets. He's got the Vlad the Arcane, the point booster, so we'll be seeing an Aghanim Scepter there. And EHOME, I mean, they've just got all these force-ups. This is just going to become sort of a war of attrition with both teams having so much survivability. I mean, EHOME with the force-ups, and then Complexity with the mobility of heroes like Queen of Pain, Invoker, the natural survivability of the Titan. They're going to have that pipe up very soon to combine with that mech, giving them such a strong team fights, and they'll just look to, both teams are just going to look to outlast one another, and this is going to be very long, drawn-out, scrappy team fights, I feel.
Yeah, we may cast a team fight and not see anybody die, aside from maybe this Crystal Maiden, who doesn't seem to be long for this world, for 10, 15, even 20 seconds. And this is where having that Brewmaster Aghanim Scepter can be a total game changer. Oh, smoke from EHOME. I believe it might have been spotted by this ward. Uh-oh. TC in a bit of a pickle here. Shackle is going to hit, and now he's in a lot of trouble. Power shot to follow. Blinks away to the trees. There's no trap. He might get away. Double Force Staff, but they don't break down the trees. He will escape. A huge investment from EHOME. Not really the smoke itself, but the 4 heroes going in trying to get that kill, and they don't get him. It's the Lincoln Sphere really paying off for him there.
Yeah, the Lincoln Sphere just gives him that sort of backup escape mechanism. And EHOME, I mean, that's the other thing. They don't have great disable. It's just a shackle shot. I mean, telekinesis is well thrown in there, but it's not really a strong disable. I mean, it's all going to be relying on hitting some big shackle shots. And with the Lincoln Sphere, there's not really much they can do to actually lock her down and get that kill.
Oh, Lamb and Hannah Montana going at it a bit, but in the end, the angry fish will scare off the small ninja. Live to fight another day. Yeah, I gotta say, it's funny to catch this game after LGD Tung Fu. If you guys haven't watched that, definitely recommend checking out the series. But those games were so action-packed, very, not what a lot of people from the West expect when Chinese Dota happens, but it's the reality of it. And, well, EHOME have such an aggressive style normally, but Complexity is just, I mean, it's 10-3, EHOME does have a lead, but it feels like Complexity is really avoiding too much damage. They're not giving up too much, they're hanging on, they're split farming where they can, and EHOME seems content to do the same. I'm wondering now, is there going to come a point where EHOME look to get more aggressive, whether it's going for another smoke gank, maybe pushing the racks? Is there an item pickup you see, or a moment in the game where you think EHOME's going to turn it on and really get a lot more aggressive?
For me, I feel this win run should have gone hard carry. I mean, I feel they're going to be lacking in the DPS department the longer this goes. I mean, Complexity aren't really an EHOME situation where they have all these 4-staffs to kite around the Bounty Hunter. I mean, Bounty Hunter does have a Mithril Hammer being bought. It looks like we'll be seeing a Desolator, unless he goes to something a bit more abnormal. I mean, he could go for a Maelstrom into Mjolnir, I guess, but probably going to be a Desolator on Bounty Hunter. So he's going to get some DPS up fairly soon, and that's what his team will need in the long run. But for me, I mean, look, they've got the Blink, they've got the Aghanim Scepter on Brewmaster, so that's going to give them a great initiation. He's not anywhere close to level 16, so now is really the time for EHOME to strike. They've got most of their core items up, they just need to get the lanes in position, they need to get that map control up, and with this gem on Brewmaster, that should be fairly straightforward for them. This is where they want to be applying the pressure, going for maybe a Roshan fight. I don't know about a Roshan fight, but maybe trying to bait something around the Roshan pick. They've got the gem, they can maybe bait Complexity to come try contest it.
It's really interesting to watch the way TC is playing this Queen of Pain. We've been talking about EHOME wanting to apply pressure, wanting to set up these ganks, push towers. TC is playing like an anti-mage with a Battle Fury, a Prophet who's just split pushing all over the map, even a Lycanthrope, just constantly, I mean, he's barely participated in any team fights, but he's constantly forcing EHOME back while they go gank the jungle. He farms bottom, he pushes bottom, and Complexity just sort of gently retreat, and then they go back to the lanes once they spot EHOME. So EHOME, they really want these fights, they want these ganks. They're not necessarily ready to go uphill yet, although maybe they will be soon. But Complexity isn't giving them too much. They're really not. And now
I have to agree. Yeah, and it's coming from Complexity. Complexity are just playing very refined Dota. They're not really rushing things. They're not getting worried. I mean, a lot of teams would look up, see the scoreboard and think, okay, we need to go fight, or we need to go do something. Or basically say, we've got Ravage, let's go team fight because we have Ravage. And that would have been a mistake. I don't think they would have been winning these team fights just because they had Ravage. You're up against a Chen Heal, a Mech, a Bounty Hunter with BKB, a Brewmaster with Aghanim Scepter and an Ultimate. Having Ravage is not going to win Complexity team fight. So they've done the smarter options, which is get up their items and levels. They've now got the pipe and mech of their own, and they've got some DPS, some more additional disables coming with a Sheepstick soon and Queen of Pain. Invoker, where is he at? He's got 4k gold. Probably another Sheepstick unless he wants to go maybe for an Ag Scepter. That's a lot of farm on Geo. Those two heroes, TC, Geo, we have to be keeping a close eye on them.
Yeah, Mike.
Even Titan, he's probably going to try and get a Blink Dagger up.
He's a bit off of it, and it looks like EHOME want to force the issue now. Grouped up mid, going for the push. Lamb getting close to the Desolator, and maybe that's something they want to wait for. They're only about 800 away. Doesn't look like they will. Track, very helpful for trying to go high ground, because it gives you that vision, and it's going to be very hard for Complexity to get the right kind of initiation. It's also going to make life easier for the Brewmaster, but no, with that track, EHOME's going to back up, look to go Roshan, and well, we saw Complexity wanted to take advantage of being on the dire side. EHOME smoked. They didn't get any kills, but now they push in mid, and they go for Roche. Do they have the damage to bring it down? Will Complexity give this away? I think we're going to see a team fight, but maybe not. IX Mike back at the fountain. Everyone grouped up inside the base. Are Complexity going to give this one away? It looks like they might.
They smoked up though, but I feel they're not going to be able to get there in time. Actually, no. I mean, EHOME, they don't have massive right-click damage, and they're going to start getting worried. They know this smoke gang's probably coming in. They just don't know when. They've got the trolls on the high ground, scouting things out, and Invis Rune on MMY going to do some nice scouting as well. BKB gets popped, land him in the front guard. The right-click damage almost going to be enough, even with the BKB, but what a shackle shot. Q. Spot on. The Tide Ravage not hitting everyone as well as he'd like, and the mechs, the pipe from both sides is keeping people alive. Geo's on the run. He's being tracked up, though. The Ghost Walk is not going to help him. He goes down the Brewmaster. 2 kills going. CM and Invoker both down. Fluff in all kinds of trouble as well. This is not going the way Complexity would have liked. Already one buyback, as we do see Invoker getting back into it. Tornado being thrown down. And now Complexity just going to look to regroup. Maybe try and prevent this Roshan. I mean, Invoker has brought back. They want to make something happen here, if possible.
Right, there's no Hand of God. There's no Panda Ultimate. At the same time, there's no Ravage. There's no Queen of Pain ult. So with both sets of ultimates down, I feel like there's nothing that Complexity can do, but maybe they'll try. Now, TC recognizes he can't stop the Roche, so he's going to do the next best thing. Pressure mid, try and draw EHOME back, delay that push, because after they get the Aegis, EHOME may wait for the Panda ult and the Chen ult to cool down, but then they will be going for high ground, that is for sure. Big fight for EHOME, though. They pick up a Desolator and Bounty Hunter, and, well, they're starting to get the damage now. TC has the Sheepstick, but also if he goes for it, he won a buyback, and in the last fight we saw Jo was forced to buy back. Was not far off of a Scythe of Vice if he didn't have to. If that fight had gone the other way, Jo might have his now. Instead, he buys back. He's quite far off. And also his buyback is on cooldown. So one more bad fight for Complexity. They're almost certain to lose Rex.
Yeah, I mean, he was seeing that on that big chunk of gold and looking to make sure that he could use that for a good opportunity, but that just did not really make the best use of it. I mean, if it was in the defense of their base where maybe he went down, he brought back and they won a good fight, then great, but that was just not a good trade for them. Losing a lot of heroes, getting a bit caught out of position now, and EHOME with this Aegis now can really play things at their tempo, and we're going to see, Lanham, he's gone in on Geo at top. Geo could be in trouble here. He hasn't got the Lincolns, and he's not, actually he is going to be able to TP out. No, he's not. Lanham just in time with the last right click.
Oh man, there was no Shuriken there. He almost got away. That was so close. In the end, not enough. And now Lim is pretty scary. I guess one thing to point about the dire side, they don't really have anyone with great agility gains, so their base armor not that high. It makes Deso relatively effective even this late into the game. And you know, it's working out pretty well for EHOME. The Panda ult cooling down, it's up now, gem up on PCT, and when you use the Panda ult, your Earth Panda will have that true sight. So this is going to make it very hard. You can't ghost walk during the fight or try any sort of escape shenanigans. Well, Invoker's dead for the moment. TC walks in, maybe lagging a bit, forces the Lincolns off, blinks back out, and Lamb is going to start working on this tower. Actually, he's going to back off. Chen creeps in the front lines. One gets taken over. Blinken. Ultimate comes out. Had him on Tanic. Caught out in the middle of the panel. Ravage is only hitting one for the looks of it. Just the Windrunner. Shackle shot is going to latch. What a shackle. Fluff and stuff held in place. Pulled back in. Lamb right clicking away. BKB not even used by Lamb, and still they get the pickoffs. Tidehunter Ravage down. EMP Tornado to follow. They want to stop this push by any means necessary. Jo busting out the entire playbook. Definitely blast EMP Tornado. But look at EHOME. They're not losing health. They're not really even losing mana. Mega kill for Lamb. Remember, this was a side lane solo bounty hunter, and he is doing work right now. Absolutely dominating here, and it's not all him, it is the team too. But now EHOME poised to take Rex. Another pickoff. Tower taking a lot of damage, dropping low. I'm really not sure what Complexity can do to stop this. They're going to try another Shackle latching. This time on the Fluff. Fluff will drop. PCT, one more right click, and EHOME poised to take the game. In fact, Complexity are going to tap out, guys.
Yeah, they've had it, and that was, EHOME. They don't have a massive amount of right-click damage, but it's just the survivability of these heroes and just great mobility they have from all the 4-stars and the great initiation from Brewmaster, just setting up kill after kill. Complexity, they had their chances. They tried to draw it out till late, but I don't feel they've ever gotten enough pressure. You're looking at this Queen of Pain, 1 kill, 1 assist. Lincoln's and Sheepstick with treads, but just, a heap of farm, 240 creeps. So the involvement, the team fight involvement just wasn't there. And it comes down to they just didn't have those openings against the sharp play coming out from EHOME, I feel.
Yeah, it all really started with that Panda getting the super fast Blink Dagger, something we discussed in the pregame. If he could get that up in time, it would be a game changer, potentially, and well, EHOME fully exploited that. That first big fight, Blink Sync claps, drops the ultimate, picks up a couple kills, and from there, towers just start to drop, like, absolutely instantly, like a lawnmower just cutting through a nice thick crop of grass or weeds, and, well, EHOME take game one, rather convincing fashion in the end. Complexity did the best they could, it just wasn't enough. Guys, this is the Beyond the Summit Dota 2 World Tour. Game 1 of EHOME versus Complexity. EHOME takes it. We'll be coming back soon with game number 2. I am LD. Joining me was godz. Don't go anywhere. Game 2 coming your way. You won't want to miss this one.